When you've been in the GoAnimate community for as long as I have, then you'd notice some of its bigger flaws more than what got you into the community in the first place. Sure, most of them may not be the biggest flaws in the world, but some of them can cause, well, severe damage to a community and its inhabitants. This commentary will discuss something that shouldn't be taken lightly. It's worse than generic grounding videos, the ongoing debate of good or bad users, and especially the ever-infamous GoAnimate or Filmora-styled rants and salutes. You've read the title of the video. They're known as GoAnimate-styled commentaries and approvals. So, for those unaware, a GA-styled commentary is a video made where someone from the GoAnimate community, or someone associated with it, uses a video that they disagree with to commentate on. Normally, the targets for these commentaries are usually rants, salutes or generic grounding videos with vague or biased reasons, especially if they have links to controversies for racism, homophobia, or disrespect, or all at once. GoAnimate-styled approvals are, well, basically the opposite of the commentaries, to the point where they end up praising everything that their chosen videos show, ignoring any bad points in them. Stuff like volume abuse, scripting errors or the lack of quality control or personalities with the characters aren't mentioned here, even though they're actually some of the most important parts of making a half-decent GoAnimate video. With both topics, they tend to use fictional characters from their favorite source of media. The characters may change expressions depending on the creator's reaction. If a good part's mentioned, then the creator and commentary or approval acts positively. Otherwise they act negatively, and they'll choose one or the other reaction most of the time. Many people of the GoAni community are aware of the infamous rants and salutes and how their infamy has made them a mockery despite people trying to salvage their dead meme state to where they start making them the main focus in grounding videos and character elimination episodes, effectively making them useless due to their predictability and plagiarism factors. But the commentaries tell a different tale that's more vile than a quote like happiness, more like sadness.
There are multiple ways to dissect the infamous commentaries and approvals, but there's only one way to make your dissecting thorough enough for practically everyone to understand, giving people an audio-visual taste of controversial condiments. I'll show you an example of how the commentaries function followed by the approvals.
Hey guys. Forest Camping Fan 1324 here, and today, I'm going to make a commentary on Brian's rant on GoAnimate haters. Now, I know this rant is going to suck. Why? Because this proves Brian can't handle opinions on GoAnimate, and he gave out invalid reasons to hate on GoAnimate haters. This rant is going to be 101% cringe and 0% awesome. I just know it. I am also not the only one here. I have got Control-Alt-Delete Max to help me with the commentary.
Hello. I am Control-Alt-Delete Max, and I'm Forest Camping Fan's friend. I'm going to help him with the commentary.
Remember that if you still like Brian, we can handle, respect, deliver with your opinion, and accept your opinion as long as you do all of that to mine. But anyways, grab some popcorn, grab a soda, grab some coffee, grab a pillow, get comfy on the couch, grab your phone, grab some drinks, grab some pizza, sit back, relax, and enjoy the commentary.
Right away, there's a problem. Notice how FCF mentioned that the rant will suck, and he had used very familiar quotes that all other commentaries would use. This is because, although he isn't wrong, he is stating the obvious. If the rant didn't suck, then the commentary itself wouldn't even exist. Likewise with everyone else who had made this same move. Not to mention that some of those commentaries add people in to help them out, when in reality, they merely pad out the commentary as long as necessary. They tend to use the quotes of GoAnimate agreeing, simple, rudimentary quotes that lose their meaning from overuse, instead of elaboration and explanation. Now we shall go back to the commentary to demonstrate the next part of the video.
GoAnimate haters. What? More like the people that don't.
Really? Was that the best mock name you could come up with?
I agree with Forest Camping Fan 1324. You should know that mock names are getting overused and old nowadays, you moron imbecile.
I can't tell you how many times I've heard those exact words whenever this mock name thing is mentioned. Even though Brian's rant isn't a GoAnimate-styled rant per se, others that are GA-styled fall under this line. GoAnimate-styled rants will have predictable scripts and mock names. For example, every single rant on haters of a subject will have the more like phrase be, subject, fans or subject, lovers. Plus, the commentaries can make worse names than this, believe it or not, such as a moron imbecile.
Oh my god. These people don't suck.
Correction, these people rock.
I agree with Forrest.
Normally this, correction, phrase is used when the commentary creator childishly disagrees with an opinion that the original video creator would have had. In my opinion, I think it's disrespectful, because you're correcting an opinion which doesn't meet the person's beliefs for a rather silly reason. It's not anything like opinion disrespecting, bashing or whatever you want to call it. But it's under a different coat of paint if you really think about it.
As you can see from this example, this is basically what you see from someone that likes to go on failure adventures to take criticism.
Bruh. The failure adventures term is getting old and overused nowadays.
I agree with.
It's a life of hypocritical solitude. It's hopeless. The commentary creators tend to make complaints about certain words and phrases being quote-unquote old and overused nowadays when the commentaries make the exact same mistake as often as the failure adventures clause. Do I need to mention that I know this rant is going to suck line as well?
They can also be manipulated to make GoAnimate rants that start by saying, GoAnimate. More like go away and never come back imate. Go away and never come back imate. Go away and never come back imate.
Oh! Ew, dude!
What the actual frick, Brian? Why in the ever-living fridge would you fudging say such a disgusting remark? You should know that this is genuinely offensive and cruel and proves that you can't handle opinions on GoAnimate. You opinion basher.
Yeah, we know. Anyway, something like this can occur, where the person, or people, that are commentating may attempt to exaggerate their reaction to an offensive part of the video, sometimes going as far as saying "what did you just say?" alongside repeating the segment of the video just to produce the overly exaggerated reaction. Sure, some of the things said in these rants can be downright offensive, but others are rather petty and childish. The volume abuse doesn't help, and during these segments, the volume is normally cranked up so high that not even muting the volume fixes the issue, even if there's a volume warning. And speaking of repeating, there's a thing going on with typical mobile editors and recorders that these people use: Time Master, Power Director, Mobizin, you name them. The first and third apps are mainly used the most for these commentaries. However, some GA-styled commentaries and approvals don't use editing at all. Instead, they use a camera or a screen recorder to record their browser with several tens of tabs opened up, where the creator would switch to specific tabs depending on which expression that they want to use for their fictional character while trying to emulate editing them. This sounds like a silly idea in practice, and it is. Take this with a grain of salt when I say this.
Imagine if I just did the rest of this commentary using this strategy. You can even see what people have typed in the TTS box before the tab switches, including typos and punctuation errors. Not to mention that if a microphone was on during the recording of the commentary, or approval, you can even hear clicking noises from a mouse, or the fan coming from the creator's PC, or laptop. Stupid, isn't it?
It doesn't help that these people end up using clips from my reaction to /that videos in these commentaries and approvals. especially over making their own clips for other people to use in these topics. The notable clips used are usually the naked gun face bomb, the scene from SML where Jackie Chu hits himself with a clock multiple times, anything from Filthy Frank,
"Shut the f*** up, no one cares. Know your f***ing place, trash."
and of course, this.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
These are the types of clips that are used when it comes to GA-styled commentaries, and it can be quite easy to tell their predictability in a way that you could possibly guess what a commentary creator may use when it comes to a negative situation.
I just hope these god-awful rants become extinct.
Well, guess what? That's never going to happen, because we must curb our ranting traits by being as cliché as possible. In fact, our next rant will be on you, Brian, and Control-Alt-Delete Max will be featured just to make both of us taunt at you while we recreate your avatar to make you cry like a crybaby. Control-Alt-Delete Max, your line.
Oh. I agree.
The commentary creator's reaction ends up being formulaic and predictable when it comes to a rant or a salute wishing something to be removed from existence or to stay for future generations. In figurative terms, of course, if the rant hopes that a show is cancelled, the commentary will say that it won't happen. If it does, then the commentary creator will be sad when it happens, or they'll just not care about it. And when it comes to a user being terminated or not, similar principles apply. If the rant wishes someone is to be terminated or to delete their account, then the commentary creator will say that it won't happen. And if they do delete their account or get terminated, the creator of the commentary will once again act sad and state the obvious in the process with the sad image and all. I know that it's sad to see your favorite creators go, but unfortunately, that's the cycle of life, and it happens with friends and family members, too.
Do you know who likes GoAnimate-styled rants?
Nobody cares!
But the thing is, if one doesn't care about something, why say that no one cares? Plus, you'd think that, logically, the commentary creator would skip over the part where they don't care about a segment preceding a typical clip being used, right? Wrong. They actually leave the scene that they, quote-unquote, don't care about, in the commentary, normally entirely unedited, only to show even more unnecessary negativity. While they are right that they want to prove that the rants and salutes don't explain anything when it comes to who likes or dislikes something, remember, it's a GoAnimate-styled rant or salute. They end up explaining next to nothing when it comes to opinions despite their creators possibly being obsessed with them. Asking the question, what does this subject have to do with another subject? Can you explain why? Will yield no answer. Period. And then, there's this notorious flaw.
Oh, guess what? No one cares about this scene at all.
Seriously, Brian. How many times do we have to tell you this? Fictional characters don't have opinions.
They don't have opinions because they do not exist, so get it through your thick skull and freaking deal with it, you dumb newbie jerk.
Where do I begin with this rather outlandish claim? The answer to Control-Alt-Delete Max's question is 0 times. Yes, 0 times, because this is nothing but a lie. Anyone who's fond with storylines, character development or personalities should know that this is literally one of the most important parts of a character, because that makes them stand out like us humans do. Anyone who's a fan of Sonic should know his personality and what he likes and dislikes. He likes his friends and going fast, but he doesn't like Dr. Eggman, aka Dr. Robotnik, or going slow. Heck, he doesn't even like the word slow. Or what about Mario? Even though he does like throwing parties, hence why the Mario Party series exists. He doesn't like Bowser because he's always kidnapping the princess that 90% of the planet should know. But, he's fine with allowing him to race against Mario and his friends in the Mario Kart series, no problem at all. Bowser's also playable in some Paper Mario games, either through intermissions or in actual gameplay. They exist to further carry out what Bowser's personality may be depicted as, but the main flow of Mario tends to go smoothly with almost every game. But of course, I won't spoil anything, and I could explain more when it comes to characters and their opinions, but this video would be infinitely long if I did. Plus, by that logic of fictional characters don't have opinions, GoAnimate avatars wouldn't have opinions either, because they're meant to be fictional depictions of their creators. Nor would your avatar on other platforms and games have opinions, because they would all be fictional as well, and because they say that the characters don't exist, they would be implying that none of the characters that they know about exist, because they should have said that they don't exist in real life, not that they don't exist, period. What's next? Is someone gonna make a Sonic Says meme that says, if you're a fictional character, your opinion doesn't count? Let's hope that this doesn't happen. If this meme ends up properly existing, let's hope that it dies quickly like the modern social media memes from bozos to goofy-ness.
In a nutshell, these rants pick on the smallest things possible with something they don't like, and it always folds flat the same way.
I have nothing to say about that part.
I agree with
A pointless interruption like that can be jarring, as that scene would have been missed potential to elaborate or to, well, commentate on the subject. It's in the name, commentary. Yet we see a situation where the commentator can't commentate on a subject without resorting to filler. And when the commentator is finally done dealing with the rant blabbering nonsense, they have the mindset of wanting to smack the rant creator with a tetramino, because they would end up saying this afterwards.
Thank goodness that rant is finally over. That made me cringe super ultra mega hard.
Even though that, again, it's more than obvious. These controversial videos are only half of the ever-infamous problem that may not ever see the light of ending anytime soon. The other half lies with the approvals. Now we shall take a look at an example involving Forest of Camping's approval on a controversial rant.
Hey guys. Forest Camping Fan 1324 here, and today, I'm going to be making an approval of Control-Alt-Delete Max's rant on normal-styled salutes. This is going to rock ultimate time because he gave mega valid reasons. Let's begin.
normal-styled salutes? No, more like V-Yun-styled salutes. Oh my god, these salutes suck like hell.
Agreed big time. Normal-styled salutes are getting old and
not only is this hypocritical, but it's also biased, too. Like the commentaries, the approvals tend to target only rants, salutes and sometimes grounding videos, especially on obvious trolls, while sometimes claiming them as criminals as an excuse to promote the offending video. They'll ignore all flaws when it comes to a video that they're approving, even if it's obvious or identical to a similar video that a commentary has been made on, and of course, they'll refuse to elaborate while also recycling the same words and phrases till the chickens come home. Oh, and of course, you'd hear the word agree or agreed a lot when you watch these approvals that I don't approve of, believe me. Not even the worst mock name in existence can cause the approval creator to complain when it comes to approvals, and sometimes, they'll praise them even if it's worse than what the average rant spits out. Stupid, right?
These types of salutes are boring to make, and you don't say much in them. How could they remove the cringy corniness from my favorite cliched trend? Sean the loser who killed Love Unadim made a salute on him dying. He shouldn't have done that.
I agree mega time. It's good that you made a grounded video out of Sean because Love Unadim didn't deserve it. He also secretly gave him the dead meat card as well. What a sock puppet nowadays.
What FCF said promotes cyberbullying, which is of course, against the community guidelines of just about every social media platform. And speaking of sock puppets, don't forget that they're usually trolls, and harassing them will cause you to get striked instead of the troll, or trolls. Things like this are the reason why people get community guideline strikes and are also the reason why they blame the CEO of YouTube or other social media sites instead of blaming themselves for making the offending videos in the first place. What's to expect? It's not the CEO's fault that you might have been hit with a strike, even if they're controversial from an unrelated subject. Think about it.
I hope these normal-styled salutes get banned soon.
I know right? They're old and
Most reviews would normally explain the good and bad parts of a subject, but these GA-styled commentaries and approvals do one or the other, even if some parts should have been mentioned. As an example, both FCF and CADM have failed to realize that the chances of normal salutes getting banned soon are next to nothing. Maybe in the far future, but not now. Unfortunately, this also applies with the infamous rants and salutes, aka the GA-styled ones, especially those from creators who disable the comments and hide the ratings over a single negative comment. While I can't stop anyone from making these, I strongly encourage people that they shouldn't continue them because of their infamy and them mostly being the cause of GA-styled commentaries and approvals in the first place. That's all there is to explain with the approvals, because there's not much to go off of. Please to note that their creators will usually agree with everything that their liked video shows. Blindly, for lack of better words, even if the information that they're agreeing with is totally wrong. Don't always believe everything that you discover on the internet.
We've established that both GA-styled commentaries and approvals are problematic and beyond biased, but that isn't all that's tied towards them. One recurring problem that they appear to have is that they appear to make commentaries on other people's commentaries or approvals, if they agree with someone disagreeing with something. Sometimes, this can result in a viewer making a commentary on the culprit's commentary on the original commentary on something like a grounding video. As an example, recycling the typical mistakes of these GA-styled commentaries. The title can be so long that it may appear as an unnecessarily long acronym, and it's never shortened properly. An example of this is TTJTCYSTNFFS Can you guess what this actually means? No? Still don't get it? Okay, it stands for Tom the Jason the Christmas Yes Sunny Day No Fans commentary on Mark's commentary on his commentary on his commentary on Jordan's commentary on Bra Moment's commentary on Fake RBX's rant on him. All that just for the title, when that could have been shortened to something like Tom's commentary on Mark, Jordan and BM's commentaries regarding Fake RBX's rant. That would have made more sense, but alas. The stacked commentaries cause back-forth arguments over trivial subjects, to where the insults, harassment and slander greatly shine, and they go beyond the scope of it being acceptable towards YouTube's community guidelines. In other words, they violate them. It's a stalemate. Regardless of which side stops themselves from continuing the commentary train, both sides will end up with an outcome that isn't even worth celebrating, even if a clear victory was set in stone, because of the damage that had been caused with the commentaries themselves, even if they're covered up with criticism purposes only or constructive criticism in the video just to fool the GoAnimate community in such a lame and toxic way. This type of conduct can be so bad to where it's possible that your entire channel or commentary can be taken down for promoting harassment. A former YouTuber named Leafy is here was terminated and permanently banned from YouTube for encouraging harassment in his commentaries and other videos, and he even made a video stating that he's no longer using anything Google related because of the situation that went down. I was also informed by people stating that these GA-styled commentaries and approvals fall under fair use, but if they end up encouraging harassment and bullying ranging from the insults we've seen to other forms of childish behavior that would be uncalled for, then this goes against the notion of fair use, and content creators and companies would have every right to take the content down. If this wasn't the case, then Super Mario Logan wouldn't have received a cease and desist notice from Nintendo for unauthorized use and monetary gain from the Super Mario brand, while also using it to harm the protected communities from race to religion. Other companies would do the same thing when it comes to protecting their audience, and I had spoken with a few experts of the law to confirm this. For safety, I will not mention their names. Fair use or not, the commentaries and approvals can still get taken down for violating the community guidelines when it comes to harassment, so the next time you hear quotes such as the following:
"Nobody gives a crap about your stupid cookie cutter intro, even though I'm playing it anyway on mute. Now screw off."
You know what, forget the intro, probably because I'm making a big deal out of a trivial subject. I even changed the title to reflect this. Let's just start.
Do you know who likes GoAnimate-styled rants?
Bruh. You plagiarized this random user's intro. Even though this commentary is plagiarized. Don't you know that plagiarism can give you a copyright strike?
I really hate it when he pitches up my voice or distorts it. It's so annoying, to where I've interrupted the entire video just to bring this up.
Just remember that complaining about trivial subjects will get you nowhere, especially if you have to go out of your way to make clips that are free to use in commentaries and approvals. These types of videos add fuel to the fire while discouraging creativity, and putting free for approval in the title of a rant that deliberately harasses the target, even going as far as recreating their avatar just to make them cry for zero reason, only encourages the line of harassment and spreads it further and further. It's why people think the GoAnimate community is controversial, and it clearly shows. If you're wondering about the GA-styled response videos that GA-styled commentary creators make, by the way, then anyone who's astute would quickly notice that they're essentially 100% identical to the commentaries. If there's anything that's unique with these videos compared to the commentaries, then I couldn't find it. Just because you changed the name of this topic doesn't mean you fixed the problem, regardless of what it's named to.
Controversial subjects usually result in people being controversial even if it's not their fault, and this is no exception at all. Ironically, I'm also one of the victims that have succumbed to the controversies, and please to note that I'm not playing the victim card. This is a serious chapter to go over, anyway. The first notable point of controversies comes from a former GoAnimator named Brendan Barney who had made a rant on GoAnimate-haters back in 2015. However, people continue to make GA-styled commentaries on this rant and the others that he's made, even in 2024 onwards, completely disregarding the fact that the GA-haters rant was privated for a reason. Brendan discontinued his rant series, and that he knew that his rants were all stupid as he didn't know any better when he made them. This also includes the Wiggles rant that contains him saying the N-word, a racial remark, but again, he didn't know better as his rants were made approximately 7 to 10 years ago as of this commentary's publication. Kids can't say things they didn't mean to because their brains aren't fully developed, unlike the brains of most adults. He was also harassed in the GoAnimate City Discord server multiple times over his rants like the one on the Wiggles until he was forced to leave it, proving how stupid people can be. They don't care that it was in the past. They care over the fact that it existed in the first place, even if it's a dead subject that shouldn't be brought up to this day. In addition, people outside of Discord continue to make commentaries on his rants while trying to treat his past stupidity like it's a problem in today's world, especially the one on GA-haters, mostly caused from this re-upload involving Jonah's commentary on Brendan's rant featuring Skinner! I'm not defending anything that Brendan did, especially with his Wiggles rant, because his childish remarks made him controversial and the N-word can be considered racist in most situations, hence why social media sites forbid the use of it completely. However, it's still childish to harass someone over their actions that they did when they were around a decade younger. We would likely be less mature around that time, and that's okay, but what's not okay is this next exhibit. Some of you watching this might have heard about the drama involving Jay Kaiser and I, where he made a disrespectful post back in 2022 stating that he hated me because I quote-unquote made a friend of mine stop their GA-styled commentaries. This is a horrible accusation to make, as there's a reason why the GA-styled commentaries are bad, and someone else having to say something explaining why they're bad or harmful is inevitable. Not to mention that some channels had been terminated for copyright or community guideline strikes, possibly from these commentaries alone, even if you say they're under fair use. I didn't want my friend to be met with that, and I would have been fine if he didn't want to stop making these commentaries. But at his own risk. The result from this post is that I had to make a couple community posts explaining why these commentaries are bad, while also debunking the smear campaign that was made because of Jay and his controversial nature and fan base. Here are all of the forms of damage that occurred just from Jay's post alone. Jay sent his fans to attack me as a result of the post. Indirectly, yes, but still. Several slanderous rants were made of me. Multiple people put the MJTS hater or step down MJ in their name. Multiple people put me in the naughty list just from this act alone in 2022, ignoring the acts of good that I had done. One of my videos had received some damage or dislikes coming from blind fans stating that they hated the video without even watching it, including a childish FNF fan. People made an instant assumption, in other words, conclusion jumped, stating that I manipulated people. And, of course, Jay slandered me as a criminal under the name of OPS Gene, one of his fictional characters, over these commentaries. All of this just because I gave out an opinion to my friend as well as making 2 community posts debunking the false narratives. It goes to show that excessive negativity caused from these commentaries can result in harassment or cyberbullying to people who have a different opinion. And doing this to the wrong person can even make them go on hiatus indefinitely or possibly be at risk from ending their lives from suicidal thoughts. This is seriously wrong, and it proves my point that most of the people involved with this subject would have been much happier and more mature if they never made these GA-styled commentaries, approvals or responses. If you're one of these people, think about how you could have had a happier life if you didn't make them at all, or even back to the point before you made them in the first place. In addition, you cannot be a criminal just for stating that GA-styled commentaries are bad. That goes against common sense. And, to be honest, I can't tell a lie here. If Jay never made this post in the first place, then the commentary that you're looking at would have been either shorter or non-existent. And no, it doesn't matter if this was in the past because it's an ongoing subject to this day that could result in other people who criticize these GA-styled commentaries to meet the same fate as me, slandered and attacked over trying to explain the truth. Of course I'd take action if I'm accused of a crime that I didn't commit, regardless of how long it takes, with this being no exception. The damage you've caused can't be repaired, Jay. I'm sorry. You should have thought 10 times, not just twice, before making the post. And to those who are still watching, please don't attack anyone who I'm mentioning, especially Jay. While he's in the wrong, he shouldn't be harassed or witch hunted. Thank you.
So knowing about what I've stated when it comes to GA-style commentaries and approvals, let's recap on why they're a problem. They are neither proper commentaries nor approvals, and responses are basically identical to the GA-style commentaries, and I don't approve of these. They use inaccurate, twisted and/or exaggerated forms of logic that don't make sense, especially when it comes to fictional characters not having opinions or existing. They don't clarify anything, even the claims stating fictional characters don't exist, causing confusion. Both commentaries and approvals can be stacked on top of each other, causing a mess of a video and a title. They complain so much about a trivial subject that they skip the intro while using that as an excuse to complain even more. They can be padded out by including arbitrary users to help the creator out with the commentary, when in reality, they're just role-playing some and they share the same personalities as the creator. They're very hypocritical. One example includes complaining about a cookie-cutter intro while leaving it in, sometimes with cookie-cutter words and phrases, and another involves complaining about a plagiarized intro, despite most of these GA-style commentaries and approvals being mostly plagiarized as well. They keep pointing out the obvious, especially by stating that a random salute would suck. And then they're usually foolish by saying, "Can you explain why?" as a response to a random salute that will never get that explanation. They are very jarring, obnoxious and intrusive, especially when it comes to interruptions, clips at max volume, and other forms of immaturity, especially speeding up a section of a video instead of just skipping over it. They put people at a risk of getting a copyright or community guidelines strike, fair use or not. They cause and escalate arguments and petty forms of drama to be brought up to multiple sides of the situation even if it didn't need to be. They cause controversies all around, and the people who try to speak up about it end up being accused of making, or forcing, people to stop these commentaries and approvals even if they never said that they were or if this wasn't their intention. They're essentially just disguised re-uploads of other people's videos made just to complain about or praise them in a childish and or hollow way, either being mostly positive or mostly negative and neither a clear mix. And, most importantly, they're repetitive, biased and corny, to where, combined with all the previous problems within them, they can make a community feel unsafe or unworthy of growing and expanding. Even if they just make grounding videos 24/7, there are other people out there who wouldn't do that. Not to mention that they may have caused some GoAnimators to use avatars excessively instead of making OCs over the incorrect logic of fictional characters not having opinions. Just note that even if you're demotivated to make videos, you can always try something new that isn't just a rehashed version of the problem made to get around people's advice and extending the lifespan of said problem. For example, you could try to find a new role-playing video idea or even a new GoAnimate video that isn't grounding. The sky's the limit when it comes to creativity as long as you work within the limits of social media etiquette, so try not to waste it on making a childish series of videos that you'd likely regret making in the future when you grow up. Save your future rather than attacking someone else over it. No one wins at the end of a commentary or approval war, no matter how valiantly they fight, so be the better person, please.
If you've made it to this point, then you should be able to understand why these commentaries and approvals are bad. If you've made even a single one of these, don't worry, as it's still possible for you to turn this around. Whether you want to unlist, delete or private them is your choice, but to be honest, no one wants accounts to be terminated for copyright or community guideline strikes, right? It's helpful if you do research on the things that you want to commentate over rather than complaining about it excessively in childish, predictable ways to where you'd look quite foolish. No offense to anyone watching, though. Here are my tips that you could take if you want to make a proper commentary. 1. Always do your research. 2. Plan out how long it may take for you to get the research sorted. 3. Proofread everything you've typed with the scripts themselves and try to avoid using cliché words and phrases. 4. Take your time with making a commentary, as doing so is a lot more complex than you think. 5. Ask your friends or family for clarification or better information. 6. Practice and learn from your mistakes, as you won't be able to get a perfect commentary made first try. 7. Explain what may be going on with certain scenarios and or how they may work. And 8, which is the most important, preview and test out your commentary multiple times before uploading it to YouTube or any other site. Don't forget that it's also helpful to take notes and inspiration from other people, provided that you don't directly plagiarize from them, or else your commentary may suffer. There's nothing wrong with experimenting, but when it turns to be an all-out war, that's no fun. While traditional, genuine commentaries are helpful when it comes to explaining things that you want to explain, provided that you do so with good intention, GoAnimate-styled commentaries and approvals are just a waste of your time and energy. And computer space, of course, if you keep all the necessary images, videos and other forms of media on your hard drive or phone.